Levels of connection with your soul. September 11, 2013. Dear friends, I am Jeshua and I greet you from my heart. We are here together, and by that I mean there is a merging of energies that takes place while we sit here. Imagine that the highest and most beautiful aspect of you recognizes itself in one another and increases manyfold because of that recognition. You often see in others their beauty, their inner riches, their refinement much more clearly and fully than seeing those qualities in yourself. By observing and being conscious of the other, you give that person faith and trust in themselves. Now give this recognition to one another. Let it flow, let it happen, let your soul be touched by it. Whenever your soul is touched, it descends more fully onto earth. When you are moved inwardly in a moment of recognition, inspiration, and emotion, your soul descends more fully into your body, because it feels more welcome and at home on earth. An interplay happens between you and your soul. Who are you then relative to your soul? I ask that question because that relationship is usually not clearly understood. Some of you conceive of the soul as something outside yourself, far away and above you. You then feel like an insignificant being who wants all kinds of things, and you experience your soul as being a power outside yourself that might, on occasion, intervene on your behalf, but you also feel you are more or less at your soul's mercy. But you are not outside your soul and your soul is not outside you. The soul, your soul, is within you, here in this place, as well as everywhere you go, you are part of your soul. And although your soul is also a part of you, you are not your entire soul, you are not equivalent to your soul. There is a part of your soul incarnated in you. It lives and moves in you. But there is also a part that does not quite fit in here, so to speak. A part that remains behind. Or you could express that concept, from an earthly point of view, as a part that is too vast to be contained in an earthly body and personality. So there is an interplay between you and your soul, while at the same time you are one and the same. You are of the same essence and not separate from each other. The interplay between you and your soul is about how much of your soul energy you will admit into your life on earth. Is it an occasional spark of inspiration, getting a taste of an expanded consciousness? Or do you allow the soul to penetrate more deeply and fully, and give shape to your earthly existence in a radical and immediate way? That is the process in which you now find yourselves, going ever deeper. This process of merging with your soul by way of a complete surrender to the flow of your soul. And you will be forced to do so by none other than you. It is a choice you make, to allow yourself to act upon what your soul urges you to do or be. And when do you decide to do this? You make that decision at the moment you realize it is absolutely necessary to do so. That this is the only way possible for you. Usually it is preceded by a period of time in which you hardly listen to the voice of your soul. You tried to do it on your own, from your head, from prevailing ideas that came to you from without, from external pressure and fear. There were many reasons why you did not listen to your soul, which caused you to become alienated from that voice, so it became a stranger to you. That is what most of you have come to associate with being human on earth. That you have become alienated from your roots, your cosmic origin, your soul. Then the process of incarnation becomes a very stressful, painful process. To descend into a body then means saying goodbye to who you are, your origin, essentially leaving your home. That is a near impossible task, and then it is only natural that you will yearn for home and want to get away from the world where you do not feel at home. There is a unique path on earth for everyone, but everyone will experience being cut off for a long time from the voice of their soul. Until you realize, I can't go on like this any longer. I'm totally stuck. When I live only from my head, from fear alone, from what should be and must be, I feel dead inside. Only when you begin to experience this dilemma very intensely will you be open to a different voice, a reminder of who you really are. So then, at a certain level, you have to give in to our soul's urges. The art of doing this is to open yourself to the new and release old notions of security, and that is often very difficult for human beings. You associate doing this with giving up, with being at the end of your rope, and with feelings of disappointment, bitterness and depression. But you can also see such a moment of ultimate despair, of no longer being able to continue in the old way, as if a door is set ajar to a new possibility. You can now take advantage of such an inner crisis to push through that door to another reality. This push requires inner strength, because just at this moment of utter discouragement, you are being prompted to turn around and to rely on something new that you do not yet know, something of which you still have no knowledge. It is like having a mess on the floor before you, and behind you there is a door, slightly ajar, from which a beam of light shines through. If you remain sitting with your back to the door and you stare at the mess, it causes more feelings of gloom, despair, and hopelessness. How can you then gain the certainty that this door behind you can give you the possibility of something different, something fresh? That certainty, that the door can open, begins to be felt when you make a connection with your soul. You can live through pain and despair in life in two very different ways. One way is for you to be totally absorbed by it, and that means that all your energy, all that is conscious in you, is carried on the waves of fear, bitterness, even hatred. Your thinking becomes colored by it, so your emotions and your body will be also affected by it in the long term. But there is another way, a counterforce. You can, at those times, become aware of what is happening within you, and so pull back from the downward current. There is something within you that observes it closely, without judgment, from a consciousness that is greater than your earthly will, your earthly ideas, your upbringing, your fears, and everything old you know from the past. Then your soul enters into your earthly field. It often happens, to put it bluntly, that a mess must emerge before you feel compelled to enter into another form of consciousness. It is precisely during a time of crisis that there can be a shift in your awareness, and you can then look at yourself from a broader perspective. The consciousness inside you then becomes very silent and still. Feel that silence for a moment. Look at something in your life for which you have no answer, something you have already thought about numerous times, have looked at it from all sides, and have frequently experienced all the emotions that belong with it. Now find yourself in a still point of looking at the situation without wanting an answer. Feel how a certain peace immediately becomes present. That is the meaning of giving up the fight, which does not mean that everything remains the same and nothing changes. It means you create space for the new, and not by thinking through what is already known and searching for answers and solutions in the past and what is behind you. The unknown, the new, the fresh, can only enter through the silence by way of that which is not known, and through surrender to the silence. Let the silence that surrounds you flow through your body. By being still in this way, you let go of old certainties, of old ideas of how things should go in your life, of convictions to which you have clung. Allow them all to drift away like the dead leaves from a tree in the fall, while the energy of your soul blows like a gentle wind through your aura. Imagine that everything that is old, everything you no longer need, everything that has been lived through and digested, blows gently away. It is just when you do not know any longer, that you let go more easily. In this way, a new strength gathers inside of you. The more your energy field feels empty and uncluttered, the more it can be filled by your soul. And out of the silence bubble up new ideas that are not fed from your head or by your will. The new ideas come to you from without, as it were. Something springs up, all of a sudden, and that does not have to occur immediately. What happens in this process is that inspirations and intuitions emerge freely and naturally, and feed you with new impulses. At this point, I will explain something about the levels at which you can feel and experience your soul, and there is more than one level at which you can feel and be attuned to your soul. We spoke just now about how the soul may reveal itself through silence, through pure awareness. That experience is also a very deep feeling of being at home, based on an ability to remain rooted, on being completely in the present, and on not being drawn in by all kinds of distractions caused by thoughts and emotions. That is one of the deepest levels at which you can have a connection with your soul, by sensing its pure presence. That state of silence has an immediate, positive effect on your body, your thoughts, and your emotions. It is the healing power of silence. When you are there, the soul is no longer something above or outside you, but is very physically tangible, in the lower half of your body, in your belly, and in your legs and feet. Become aware of how it feels in your body when your soul is fully connected with you, and when you are completely there with your soul. Feel the solidity of this connection, and also its tranquility and peace. This experience of peace and tranquility, that deep stillness, is the basis of all soul connection. If that quiet peacefulness is not there, your connection with your soul is not complete. Why do I say this? Because there is another level from which you can connect to the soul, and that level is located physically higher in your energy field. Many of you are intuitively gifted and also clairvoyant. From your sixth sense, from your energetic ability to perceive everything around you, you can pick up the moods and thoughts of others. This can happen from the third eye, or you may feel others from your heart. Already, when I start to speak about this, you probably find that your energy is becoming somewhat more restless and ascends upward. The tranquility is gone. You are in danger of losing your center as you tap into the many energies around you. This also happens when you connect in your heart and mind with your ideals of how you would like the earth to be and your visions of the future. They often lift you up above yourself. There then seems to be an intuitive connection to your soul, but at the same time, that connection is not entirely grounded, and not fully making it to the silence and the stillness I spoke of earlier. You can be seized by the vision of the new era, a heart-centered energy on earth, and at the same time be very disappointed because it is not happening in your life as quickly as you desire, and because of so much resistance and opposition in the world. In this way, you feel at odds with the society around you, and it seems as if you do not fit in with this world. Although the desires and feelings that you have, the premonitions of the new earth, are born from the connection with your soul, it is important to allow that energy of inspiration to fully descend into your energy field, your body, and your abdomen. If you have some ideas about what you desire for the future, then feel those ideas and that energy of the future in your heart. Feel, too, for the fire that lives within you, and let that fire rise up to fuse the energy more solidly within you. Then allow that strengthened energy of the future to descend into your abdomen, your legs, and your feet until it becomes silent and still, until you become silent and still. At that moment, your soul, and the messages you receive from your soul, touch the earth. Then a grounded, realistic flow can get underway, and you stay completely in touch with your earthly reality, while at the same time you also keep connected with your soul. You have then built a bridge between the two. I see how many of you light workers are totally absorbed at times in visions of another world, while at the same time you lose your connection with this world, here and now, which is not only outside you, but also inside you. You become split, and dichotomies are created between the light and the darkness inside you and between you and the world outside you. Those dichotomies produce struggle and tension, both within and without. It is now your challenge to really give up the old and to welcome the new into the depths of your earthly being, at all levels, head, heart, and abdomen. Your soul can only take root on earth if you allow it to descend deeply into your being, down to the level of the abdomen and pelvis, which connect you to earth. Feel the peace and silence when you leave thoughts, even psychic impressions and emotions behind. Just be there, be open to it, and the new will unfold without you knowing how. The arrival of the new earth, of heart-centered consciousness on earth, depends on the presence of many people who are both grounded and spiritually evolved. They are the channels. Jeshua. Channeled by Pamela Kribe. Translation by Maria Bays and Frank Tayan. www.yeshua.net